Poverty isn't just about money. It's a mindset, a conditioning, a psychological cage built long before the paycheck even enters the picture. People think being broke is about not having enough resources, but the truth runs deeper. Most people will stay broke because they've been trained to think poor, to feel poor, and to fear freedom. You see, poverty begins in the mind. The quiet acceptance of limitation. The belief that life is something that happens to you, not something you can shape. From childhood, most people are taught obedience, not ownership. They're told to stay safe, not to take risks. They're praised for following rules, not for questioning them. And by the time they're adults, that conditioning becomes a prison they don't even see. This is the psychology of poverty, where survival replaces ambition and fear disguises itself as responsibility. You're taught that stability is the goal, that comfort means success. But comfort is the greatest sedative of potential ever invented. It lulls you into mediocrity, rewarding you just enough to keep you from rebelling. The truth is, most people will never escape poverty because they don't actually want wealth, they want safety. They say they want freedom, but freedom requires uncertainty, and uncertainty feels like danger. So they trade potential for predictability. They stay in jobs they hate, cities they out, relationships that drain them all because they're afraid to fail. But that fear is what guarantees failure. Psychologically, this is called learned helplessness. When you experience enough loss, rejection, or disappointment, your brain starts believing effort doesn't matter. You stop trying because trying hurts. You settle for survival. Not because it's all you can have, but because it's all you believe you deserve. Poverty becomes familiar, and the familiar, no matter how painful, always feels safer than the unknown. But here's the dark secret. The system depends on that mindset. Society is designed to keep people obedient through exhaustion. You work just long enough to pay bills, too tired to build dreams. You're bombarded with debt, entertainment, distractions, anything that keeps you from looking too closely at the invisible chains around you. They don't need to cage you. If they can convince you, the cage is stability. And the sad truth is, most people defend their own imprisonment. They mock ambition. They ridicule risk. They call dreamers unrealistic because watching someone else escape makes their own chains harder to ignore. That's why the poor don't just stay broke. They protect poverty as if it were identity. They romanticize struggle. They glorify the grind without realizing they're grinding themselves down. The human mind is a master of self-sabotage. If you grew up hearing that money is evil, that rich people are selfish, that wanting more makes you greedy, your subconscious will ensure you never have more than enough. You'll reject opportunities without realizing it. You'll call it intuition when it's really fear. You'll chase quick fixes because true discipline feels unnatural. And every time you fail, the voice in your head will whisper, "See, you were never meant for more." That's how generational poverty perpetuates, not through lack of money, but through emotional inheritance. The child of scarcity grows into the adult who doesn't trust abundance. They save, not to build wealth, but out of fear. They avoid risk because safety feels noble. But safety isn't success, it's stagnation. If you watch closely, you'll see that poor and wealthy people think differently. The poor ask, what happens if it goes wrong? The wealthy ask, what happens if it goes right? The poor spend money to feel better now. The wealthy invest money to live better later. The poor wait for permission. The wealthy act on conviction. The difference isn't access, it's awareness. And yet, awareness is the one thing most people avoid. Because awareness demands accountability. It means admitting that you've been complicit in your own limits. It means confronting the ways you've betrayed your own potential. Most people would rather stay broke than face that truth. Because once you see your own chains, you can't pretend you're free. That's why self-improvement is so uncomfortable. It threatens identity. A person who's built their worth on endurance doesn't know what to do with empowerment. If your self-image is tied to struggle, peace will feel like emptiness. You'll sabotage success just to return to the familiar chaos where you know how to survive. And that's the ultimate trap of poverty. It doesn't just drain your wallet, it rewires your nervous system. It teaches you to equate suffering with safety, to confuse control with security, to crave predictability more than possibility. That's why the first step out of poverty isn't financial, it's psychological. You have to unlearn the fear of more. You have to stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I stay here forever?" Because the real danger isn't trying and losing, it's never trying at all. Escaping poverty isn't about luck or opportunity, it's about identity. You can hand someone money, a business plan, or a blueprint for success. But if they still see themselves as someone who's meant to struggle, they'll find a way to lose it. The subconscious always returns to what feels familiar. That's why lottery winners go broke. Why people who escape the hood end up back where they started, and why success without self-awareness always collapses. The mind protects its beliefs, even when those beliefs destroy it. If deep down you believe you don't deserve wealth, your actions will always confirm that. You'll procrastinate on the opportunity that could change your life. You'll underprice your worth. You'll keep people around who drain you because part of you believes that's all you deserve. Poverty, at its core, isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of permission to expand. Society doesn't teach expansion, it teaches compliance. You're trained to clock in, obey, consume, and repeat. From school to employment, the entire system is designed to make you predictable, not free. They don't want thinkers, they want workers. They don't want innovators, they want taxpayers. That's why true wealth feels rebellious. It's not about greed. It's about refusing to be domesticated. People stay broke because they fear independence. Real independence demands self-trust, and self-trust terrifies the conditioned mind. When you're used to being told what to do, freedom feels like chaos. Most people can't handle that responsibility. They'd rather have structure than sovereignty. That's why they cling to the 9-to-5, even when it kills their spirit. Because it's easier to blame a boss than to face the mirror. The truth is, no one is keeping most people poor. They're keeping themselves safe. Safe from risk, from rejection, from... You can't build wealth with a survival mindset. Survival thinks in days. Wealth thinks in decades. Survival plays not to lose. Wealth plays to evolve. And that shift can only happen when you stop identifying with struggle. Every rich person was once delusional. They had to be. They had to believe in something no one else could see. But poor minds call that arrogance. They call it luck, because if they admitted it was discipline, courage, and self-belief, they'd have no excuse not to do the same. It's easier to resent success than to recreate it. But here's the paradox. The moment you start thinking differently, you start losing people. The friends who used to complain with you will stop calling. The family members who loved your humility will start calling you changed. Because, in truth, they never loved you, they loved your conformity. They loved the version of you that didn't challenge their comfort. And when you outgrow that identity, you expose their stagnation. That's when the real test begins. Not financial, but emotional. Can you handle being misunderstood? Can you walk alone long enough for your new reality to catch up? Because evolution is lonely. You'll be tempted to go back, to dim your light so they'll accept you again. But that's how poverty survives, not through oppression, but through belonging. You trade freedom for familiarity. If you want to escape that cycle, you have to stop romanticizing struggle. Stop saying I'm just surviving. Stop treating hardship as a badge of honor. You weren't born to struggle, you were conditioned to. And what's been learned can be unlearned. You have to retrain your nervous system to feel safe in abundance. To normalize peace, not panic. To make progress feel familiar and stagnation feel unbearable. That means surrounding yourself with people who see more in you than you currently see in yourself. It means investing in knowledge, not validation. It means forgiving yourself for all the years you wasted settling. Because guilt is another chain disguised as discipline. Every time you say, I can't, you reinforce the poverty program. But every time you act, despite fear, you rewire it. You start realizing wealth isn't money, it's autonomy. The ability to decide how you live, where you go, who you serve, and what you create. The broke mind asks, how much will this cost me? The wealthy mind asks, how much will it cost me not to? One lives in fear of loss. The other lives in pursuit of potential. Most people will stay broke because they confuse struggle with virtue. They've mistaken endurance for strength and stability for happiness. But real strength is the courage to reinvent yourself. Real success is the ability to think freely, to create instead of consume, to design a life that reflects who you are, not what society told you to be. And that's the greatest poverty of all. Not the absence of money, but the absence of imagination. The refusal to believe you can be more than what you've been told. The truth is, wealth isn't a miracle, it's a mindset. And as long as you keep feeding your fear more than your potential, you'll keep living the same story. The world doesn't keep most people broke. They do it to themselves, one excuse, one paycheck, one unchallenged belief at a time. But if you can unlearn the fear, if you can embrace discomfort, if you can believe you deserve more even before it shows up, the cycle ends with you. You become the anomaly. The one who saw the pattern and walked away from it. The one who chose faith over familiarity. The one who understood that the richest people aren't those who have the most, but those who refuse to settle for less.